welcome to Wellness Wednesday. I'm Deborah.
And I'm Rachel.
And today we have two special guests. I have Vaughn and Angela that are with the Area Agency on Aging. I have to pronounce it out so I make sure I get it correct. It's a long one. So ladies, thank y'all for coming today and being a part of this. We're excited because I imagine there's a ton of stuff that y'all do that not everybody knows. Because I think every time I'm around y'all, I learn something new, which is good.
Absolutely.
Because we're out in the community talking to people, and I'm like, oh, I remember this. Wait a minute. Let me think where I heard that at.
That's right.
So kind of give us a rundown of what y'all do.
We'll be happy to. We thank you guys for having us, and we do benefits counseling. So we're certified benefits counselors, and we have been certified through Texas Legal Service Center. So we are pretty much experts in our field.
And I'm telling you, if you've had to look at the benefits, that's overwhelming.
Yes.
My husband reads the 65, and I'm like, oh, don't ask me. I'm like, you might find somebody. I said,
Send him on over.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think he figured it out.
Okay, good.
I just know, the managed cares make me very nervous because they're limiting, what they can and can't do. Of course, traditional Medicare is always going to be, but it costs more. And some people don't have that income that can afford to be able to pay for their medicines. So kind of tell us what you do when you're doing a counseling session on signing up for the different plans.
Yes, ma'am. We actually do a one-on-one, or you can bring your family member or your spouse. But we are unbiased, so
No judgment. Yeah,
we do whatever is best for you, whatever's
financially, whatever's going to fit your little box.
That's right.
It's individualized.
Even with health, health plays a very important
huge
role.
factor. I'm glad you said that because it
It
does.
sure does. 'Cause it determines what type of medications you're on, what tier they are,
What can pay the best? What's going to be
That's
beneficial for the person?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So, do y'all go to training for this?
Oh yes.
How
Yes,
often
ma'am.
do you go?
We have a training once a year, but we take trainings like virtual trainings and things like that
Kind of like
throughout the year.
What are they called?
Like seminars.
Certifications
certifications.
Yeah. Okay.
We do that throughout the year. So we have a lot of things that change over time. So
Right. It doesn't take very long.
It pretty much changes every year.
I think it's hourly.
Yeah.
I feel like it's hourly,
Yeah,
just to keep you on your toes.
Yes, ma'am.
So they come to you, or can you come to them?
Actually, both. So
Well, yeah, in a sense, they can. Of course, we all come to the office, please.
Yeah.
But we also have BC assisting sites with benefits counselor assisting sites throughout our 9 counties. So we do Paris, and we got the 9 counties. So just
I was reading the 9 counties this morning because I was trying to kind of get. I'm like, wow, y'all cover a lot of territory.
Yes.
Is it out of this office that you covered, or is there different people out in the field?
Out of
Different
this
ones.
we're the main office, but
So
we
y'all
do
do all
have
of it?
different,
Oh, wow.
assistants. So we go to each of those sites. We try to go every month, once a month, to each of those sites, so that we can assist people. But sometimes, we'll tell them we can do it over the phone or however you'd like to do it. So we try to make it more convenient for them.
So let me ask you this question because I know we run into it. And I'm reaching that age. We may be technology challenged or can do it. I'm challenged, so I'm not going to say I can do it. But with dealing with people that may have been exhausted, been in the hospital trying to figure this stuff out. How do you walk them through the process that they get it, they understand it, without going, okay?
Yeah.
Great question, because we get those deer in headlights all the
Because
time.
I would probably be going, what?
So we try to see if there's any type of a family member or friend that can kind of
Help them
assist
navigate.
with that. Yeah. So if you have a daughter and she can understand a little bit better.
Oh, I take her everywhere when it comes to difficult things. I'm like, what did they say?
I have them to come in with them, hopefully, and then we get everything kind of situated to where the understanding is by the end of the meeting.
You're going to know what you
That's
want.
right.
And it's going to be good.
That's right.
So do you help them fill out the paperwork and get it submitted to whoever they're going to?
We do. And like Angela was saying, if that family member can't come along, it's just a part of what we do. We take our time. We kind of fill out the person and just being able to get on the same level as that person.
That's not always easy to do, though.
It's not.
It is
It's
not
really
easy.
not. It's
Because you
not.
think they're getting it, and then you at the end you go,
You're
you didn't get it.
Right. It's like,
So you're like, okay, let me.
Well, and I think they all probably come in with just the same thought process. This is what I need. How do I get this? Because I know I just went through this, with a family member of mine, and had I not known just the little bit of what I knew, I probably would have been lost in
Lost goose.
Yeah,
Mhm.
lost.
Mhm.
I said I finally got to meet you because you were, we did a phone call, and it was a huge relief by the time we got off the phone, because by that afternoon I had something figured out for them. But that generation of people that are trying to figure things out,
It's a tough navigation.
and I'll tell you, it was almost automatic, because my loved one's Medicare Part B had gone away, but it came back where he could re-enroll in that like in April, so April 1st. He immediately, it was crazy.
He was trying to be
started getting
proactive.
These phone calls from people
Yes.
every day,
Yes.
and, it's
And that's
not even
another
open
frustrating
enrollment.
thing.
That's a
And
hard thing.
I had been communicating with him back and forth about here's what we're gonna do. And that afternoon, I come in and they were so proud because they were like,
He did
I
it all.
enrolled in this plan today, and I'm like, yeah. And we go over everything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like a representative for the Blue Cross Blue Shield Advantage plan, and I said, how did this person get your number? Like I'm asking all these questions because I said, did you do this through Medicare? No. Had I not known, that you can get on the Medicare website and, go through it that way, I probably would have been like, oh, okay. Like this is okay, because Blue Cross Blue Shield was familiar to them. They knew that name, when we're young, that's the most common insurance people have. So he thought it was just the best thing ever. And I'm like, oh no. We have to fix this right now. So it was 2 days of him being on the phone to get back in touch with them, and then they were very dishonest with things. Like this is going to be messed up. You're not going to be able to do this. I said, oh no, you no.
That's right.
Like I knew
Because
just
he
enough
put
to
the
know
panic, the
that
fear into them, and
that's
we
that's
had
so
not
wrong.
hit April 1st yet. The deal is not sealed, so let's rewind this. But
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's,
I'm
it
glad
was
you had
it was
Yeah.
crazy.
I can imagine.
Well, I mean, we run into it all the time,
It's
especially with
crazy.
home health. There's certain insurances. It is managed care, and there's a reason it's called managed care.
That's right.
They're managing it because they're in it for a profit.
That's right.
So, and not all of them are proactive when it comes to the patient that needs the care. And some of them will limit it to 4 visits, and you're like, they just got out of the hospital with a broken hip, and 4 visits is not going to do much.
Not gonna do much.
So, and then to get that other visits approved, it's jumping through hoops.
Yeah.
And you hate to involve the patient, but you're going to have to call the insurance company and tell them that you've already gone through the 4 visits,
That's right.
and that we don't need to wait because you just had a hip replacement or knee replacement or whatever the case may be. So it is frustrating for individuals. So I'm glad there are people out there that look at what you have, what you need, and can get it maneuvered so they can.
But I have a question too, because I did notice when I was going through all of that Medicare enrollment with the Advantage plans and not, you put your zip code in every single one of them. So is it not across the board the same everywhere, or
No, California's different, Florida's different. Like, after working in a nursing home, I learned that really quick. If they lived in Florida and moved to Texas, that Florida plan is considered out of network. They have to wait till they change it to a Texas because it doesn't pay the same.
That's right.
So, in California, Utah was another one that was totally crazy.
So is it that maybe certain areas of the United States, if somebody was going to choose a plan, would work better in that area versus another?
Correct.
And,
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Correct.
Because they do have, like you spoke about Blue Cross, they do have some Blue Cross Blue Shield plans, even as close as Dallas, that work
Well,
completely
that's what I
different
looked
than
at. I
this.
said, well, it looks
Metropolitan
like it
versus
would-
we're considered rural.
That's what I ended up saying. It looks like this would be a fabulous plan if you lived here, but not
Right.
here.
That's
So
correct.
And most of us have Blue Cross Blue Shield in Texas.
Mhm.
But guess what? We can go Dallas.
That's right.
We can go Dallas now. I haven't had too many problems, but so how long have y'all been doing this?
Oh gosh.
Let's see, for me,
It's been going on 6 years for me.
Okay.
So
I would say what,
Yeah.
4 or 5?
Four.
About 4 years
So
for me.
what
As far as
led
benefits
you-
counseling.
Yeah.
What led you to that? What to get into this line of?
Actually, I began doing insurance billing and claims and things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. For,
That's a tough one, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's where I actually
Knew
started.
the knowledge. Mhm.
And I knew them. So then I've been familiar with Medicare and things like that. So I figured, hey, if I could just, and I just do a whole variety of insurance.
Oh.
So if I could just bring it down to one.
You've been doing
Whoa.
good. So you actually worked in the insurance industry
Yes.
in the private
In
sector.
the
Okay.
past, yes,
And for
ma'am.
me, I never had any experience, but when I came onto the ATCOG, I started off as a program assistant, just entering intakes and things of that nature, doing like meal site monitorings. I went into that, and it was just kind of like, oh well, hey.
You're catching on to this really quick.
Yeah,
That's
and
a little
then
bit more
it's
difficult.
It was such a demand. It's like, hey, do you want to
Yes.
go ahead and pick this up and assist Angela? Absolutely. I think it's so interesting. Of course,
Yeah.
it changes all the time. You have to keep up with it.
Well, you make a huge difference.
Yes,
You
and that
guys
makes
make
us
a
feel so
huge
good.
difference.
But I don't think a lot of people in the community know that you're available.
I know.
And that's what's frustrating.
I
That's
didn't-
why
I'm gonna
we
be
started
honest with you, I
this.
have
That's
been
true.
a nurse 13 years, and I've worked in several different fields until I saw a brochure laying in our copy room.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I know.
And that's crazy because I'm like,
Everybody says
oh
that.
my gosh.
Yes.
Because so many people are missing out on that opportunity that they struggled through
Mhm.
and probably had to fix it 50 times before they got it right. So that is awesome. So I know Area Aging Agency does other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do y'all help if somebody needed a Medicaid application filled out? There's somebody there that can do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Look,
That would be us.
Seriously.
We do all SNAP, Medicaid, any kind of public assistance.
Yes.
We will help you too.
What is the age for this?
Well, of course we assist 60 years of age and older. Now, of course, we do assist those that's under 60 with Medicare, but that's the age that we
Not Medicaid?
We do. If they
Or
have
both.
Medicaid,
Yes.
that's good, but they will have to have like disability or something.
So I'm gonna
of
give you
that
a
sort.
scenario and you tell me
Okay.
if you can do this. I'm actually gonna be meeting with somebody at 4 o'clock today.
Okay.
The young gentleman is on a vent, he's non-responsive. The mother is trying to navigate getting Medicaid set up. So how does that work if he's non-responsive,
Mhm.
she doesn't have power of attorney or any of that? How can she get Medicaid for him?
She actually can be an authorized
represent.
representative for him.
So how do you do that?
There's a form
Look.
on Texas,
Mhm.
Texas Health and Human Services website. There's a form
Okay.
that it's called authorized, I guess, I don't know if it says individual but
I'm a
you're
bit-
authorized to
Signing.
know all of their
Business
information on
If
their
they
case.
send that person, they'll also receive it as well
Mhm.
via mail, phone call.
Yeah.
And I think that's where she was confused, because like I said, I'm meeting him at 4 o'clock, because she goes, they won't help me, and I said, I'm gonna come help you, we're gonna
Yes.
figure this out.
Yes.
Because that's something even if I can't give them my services,
Mhm.
I'm gonna make sure they get what services they need.
Absolutely.
And, because she's literally on tears.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
And I don't think he's gonna be waking up, so, we need to get something in place for
Yes.
her, so thank you, that will help me navigate that, I may be giving you a wrong
Yes,
percent.
ma'am.
So, or sending her your way
Yeah.
if I can't figure it out by myself, because I have filled out an Arkansas Medicaid application for someone. It did come back with some errors on it, but we got them fixed. But, it's a learning process. So it's always nice to know there are somebody out there that's educated in it that can help us.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, and you're a phone call away.
Absolutely.
And I
That's
actually have your phone number, so.
If we don't know, we will find out.
Absolutely, yes.
And
We
see,
will point
that
you in
is-
the right direction as well.
You don't know how many people we talk to on a daily basis and nobody will help me. I go, what do you mean nobody will help you? They're-
Right.
Okay, what are you
Somebody.
wanting?
Yeah.
Where are you at in your process? And I'm like,
Right.
yes, there is. Here, I'm gonna give you this
Okay.
name, this number.
Well, and I'll tell you one of the biggest things that we see is a lot of times people have gone into the hospital, they had no insurance prior to, they go in and they're like, oh, well, you can apply for Medicaid. So they help them get that done, but then we're
It's
back
pending.
home
Mhm.
and it's pending. You
Yes.
know, there's
Never,
no-
never land.
and we don't know how to help them, tell them, because a lot of times that's a lot. I mean, several times a week you're running into people that are in the process trying to get it.
Yes.
Mhm.
So you're another resource for that too.
Yes.
Like on their how long is there, like, because I get confused because I've heard them say you can have an emergency Medicaid
That's right.
and then there's one that
regular,
takes a while.
yeah.
So how do they determine that?
They give them an assessment
Mhm.
when they
Asking
are
questions
asking
and stuff.
questions.
Okay.
So that's how they determine, which
Okay.
Medicaid would work best for them or that they
What
need
level
to
they're
have.
at.
Yeah.
Same
Okay.
for SNAP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how long does it take to get emergency Medicaid?
Emergency Medicaid, like I said, depending on whole Health and Human Services has been behind recently. They've been behind on stuff, so it's kind of hard to say. But normally, the emergency Medicaid, sometimes they can do it when they're on the phone with you. They can approve them.
Yeah.
It
And
just
it
depends on the
escalates.
circumstances.
Yes,
Depends on your
yes,
circumstances.
there we go.
So they can
That's it.
escalate it, or they can say 45 days, 61 days.
Yes.
You know,
Depending on how they feel it's
Yes.
what the level is.
what the level is.
If it's not emergent, is that, how long does that look like? 3 months,
Yeah.
6 months? Is
It's
it
been
a
6
long-
months from what
Yeah.
I've found,
Yeah.
what I've
Yeah.
researched
And so it's
into.
45 days. If they can call right after that, ask for
And-
an escalation,
Yeah.
then they'll say, oh, give us up until 61 days. After that, you should be
Able to
approved
follow.
or denied
Yeah.
right then and there on
Yeah.
the phone after that 61
Well,
day.
coming from a nursing home, we dealt with that a lot with
Uh-huh.
Medicaid pending, and they were way behind. I think they're better than they
Yes.
were
Yeah.
because COVID did throw everything into a loophole,
It did.
a dark hole.
Yes.
That we're not sure it's ever going to be
Right.
100%. You know,
Yes.
we had to go through getting out and meeting people and actually seeing face to face without a mask. So
Exactly.
we made it.
We did.
So
Mm.
let me change the subject a little bit. So we went through a solar eclipse the other day.
We did.
So what did y'all do? Did y'all go out and look at it?
We did.
I know. Yeah.
At work? I'm sure you were at work.
Actually, that was our. We worked remotely that day,
Oh, okay.
so that we were able to. Cause I don't know about you guys. My kids' school was out. Our kids'
I
school
heard a
was
lot
out.
of that.
So
So
we stayed home and we looked at the eclipse, and actually it was amazing
It
to
was
me. I mean,
amazing.
the
Cool.
kids were
It
like,
was cool.
"It's pretty
I'm a
cool."
chicken. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very superstitious. So
I know.
I may have went home and sit in my living room kind of
Yeah.
because it turned yellow and I was like,
That was my
uh-uh.
mom.
I'm not
That
going
was
out
my
there.
mom.
I'm
I
not
was
just-
like,
yeah.
what's he
I
doing
got too
now?
much Native American in me. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not messing with that.
Yeah.
Nope. But it was. I mean, she put on a wedding during the eclipse. It's on our Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah,
One of our
so,
employees.
Employees,
got
they
married.
had been engaged for, I think, 12 years. And I just randomly threw it out on a Thursday night. I'm like, how cool would it be if y'all just did it during the eclipse?
Let's be real. She pushed him into getting
Yeah.
married.
It was really
Forced
neat.
them.
I mean, it was really neat. They came, their ceremony finished right before, like,
The
it's
pictures are
completely
gorgeous.
covered.
Yeah, it's
And,
gorgeous.
Check that out.
they
Yeah.
came down the aisle. We actually put it on our Facebook.
It's on
page
Facebook.
Oh, I
because,
didn't know. Check that out.
as they got to come back as Mr. and Mrs., it was completely dark, so everybody held sparklers and stuff.
Which is, you know,
Yeah.
one minute it's
Really
bright and then they got sparkle. I'm like, wow,
That is,
Yeah,
love
it was
that.
really neat.
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Well, I always want to hear everybody's experience, even though I was a chicken.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I hit out. I just hit out.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'll own it. I was a chicken.
Yes.
I was a chicken. So, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, not to do with work. You know, if you want to talk about your life, marriage, or whatever,
Sure.
kids.
Yes, I have a husband. I have 2 children. I have, actually, I have some bonus children, and I have grandchildren. So, hey, I'm busy all the time.
Oh, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yes. So
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah,
How long have you been married?
it will be 18 years.
Wow, you still like him, huh?
You
Just
know,
kidding.
there you go.
So nice.
She loves you. In case you're watching, she really loves you.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have a good time, and we get all the kids together. So we're just,
I always love to hear
I
the
know.
stories because I think,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, family's important.
It is. It's
I know we
very
spend so much at work,
At
that,
work,
you know,
yeah.
but family is your.
Mhm.
That's why we do it.
Yes.
Mhm, exactly. So for me, I have some kids as well. It's just me. I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
But me and my kids, I love my life.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in God, and
You gotta be.
you know exactly.
You gotta
and
be.
I think that's very important.
Mhm.
Extremely.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know. It's just life is good, and I love my job.
You can tell you love your job. Both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I'm
love
glad.
and our AdCog, Ark-Tex Council Governments, they make it they put our family first. So
That's awesome.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
We
So
work for somebody that does that,
Yes.
so we
that's-
understand.
yes, so that's
That
good. So
makes
they help us to put our family first,
Yeah.
and they make it convenient for us
Mhm.
to do our job and do
Go-
the things that we love to do.
Go to work with a smile on
Oh,
your face and
yeah.
enjoy what you do.
You don't hate. Oh, I gotta go to
I
work.
gotta get there
I feel like-
again.
No,
But you're helping people.
that's
Yeah.
right.
And I always said, if I could just help people, that's,
yes,
you
it's
know,
so gratifying.
everything
It
else
is.
will fall in place.
That's right.
Everything.
Mhm.
Well, that is awesome. We work for a local owner, and he's grown this company from an ALF. He's added hospice. He's added home health. He's added transportation, infusion,
Awesome.
palliative care.
Wow.
We have an inpatient unit at our ALF, so he's always thinking, what can I do for the community that will help the community?
Mhm.
He doesn't always, one of the things that we actually had him on our podcast last week, and one of the things, because I'm always going, I just need you to be on there. I need people to see that you are so sweet. Men don't like that, but, that he gives. And we were talking about, he gives from the heart, even if it's not going to be profitable.
Right.
Like people needing food in their home and on our services, and he goes, get the ALF to deliver it. The driver will take it. And I'm like, I've never worked for anybody like that.
That's
So it was very
awesome.
shocking.
Yes.
So it's always good to hear other people that they enjoy what they're doing as well, and that they put family first.
That's right.
Because you don't, this is 2024.
That's
It's
right.
just,
Yeah.
you gotta, whew.
Got you.
It's-
And us knowing the importance of family, so that helps us, I think, to help our clients more. Because when I'm looking at that person across the table, I see my
be.
grandmother.
Could
I
be.
see my grandma. You know what I'm
Could be.
saying? I see my dad, my mom. So how would I want them to be treated?
There you go.
Would I,
Yeah.
you know,
That
so-
doesn't happen every day.
That's true. But that's
And I
what
can
we-
lose my
we live
stuff
by
real
that.
quick when I see
Mhm.
somebody not treating
Yes.
somebody. Babies, pets,
That's right.
and older people.
Mhm.
The middle-aged, take care of yourself. I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
Step on up.
Get on up.
You got this, but do not do any of that. So
That's
don't
right.
abuse.
Mhm.
Help them
Absolutely.
out.
Absolutely.
Well, so what is the one thing you enjoy the most about what you get to do?
Wow.
I think
So
it's
many.
when we do assist, just having them to come back and say like someone is
You help
assisting
me?
with that. Yes, like Medicaid or looking for that,
Mhm.
pay for their Part B, and say, hey, I got approved, and it's just like it's such a change
Lord.
for them sometimes with that
Yes.
income.
Well,
It's
can
a
be.
huge relief
It
off of
is.
it.
Yes.
Because
It is.
a lot of people, especially in the elderly community, are living.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
They have to choose between food or medicine, and that's not
right.
something you should have to choose from.
That's right. But it happens every day.
Every day.
Mm.
It hurts my heart to know that there's somebody out there that I really need to eat, but I really need my medicine. What am I going to do? And there's options out there, and these guys can help you
Right.
navigate through that and get you some services.
Because
Absolutely.
what helps us too is that we have the information referral system in our, in our facility. So we, if we can't help them, we can go.
You know who
That's
can.
right.
You can, and that's I said back in 2002 when my parents started declining. I was the deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
I'm like, now what? I had my daughter was not even in kindergarten, and I'm like, well, what are we doing? What?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's right.
So I said from that day forward, I don't want to be the deer in the headlights. I want to be able to go, it's okay. I know you're overwhelmed,
That's right.
but there is an answer. This is what we're going to have to do to get to that
That's
answer.
right.
Sometimes you just give it to them in spurts. I'm going to give you this piece of paper. You go get this accomplished. This is how you're going to get it accomplished. Bring it back, and I'll give you the new list.
There you go.
And
That's how
it
you
doesn't
have to do it.
overwhelm them
That's
as
right.
much. You just have to sit there and read people and see where they're at, what
That's
they need.
it. Mhm.
And when they come in with high anxiety,
Oh, yeah.
you just have to.
Mm-hmm. And that comes with time. You
Well, and I
you
bet
gotta-
y'all see it too, because
You
not
can't
only
help me. What?
is-
I'm
is
kidding.
the person
What do you mean?
feeling
Yeah.
anxiety by the time their family member has,
Oh, yeah.
exhausted all efforts and
Yeah.
doesn't know which way to go. Then you got one that's got anxiety, the other one that's irritated,
Or one that's
and,
checked out.
Yes.
I'm
yeah,
done.
those too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we got our case management team, to provide some assistance with respite care, the alert buttons, and just so much, many
wow.
other things.
So that's what I was gonna ask. Besides the help with the insurance, what all does the
Yeah.
area on aging do?
We assist with transportation, which is our track system. And
Right.
of course, we do give other resources like hands-on Texarkana for transportation as well. We got our meal as far as congregate sites around our 9 counties, as well as, of course, Texarkana. And we also have the home delivered
Home
meal.
delivered.
We have our ombudsman team that kind of assist those that are advocates for our seniors that's in those nursing homes and things of that nature. What else we have? We have evidence-based classes.
Well, do y'all do some sort of fitness class or something?
That's the evidence-based
Okay,
classes.
because I was at a
What?
lunch and learn, and I heard them say something about a class, and one of the is it like a
It's like
karate or something?
Yeah, Tai Chi.
Okay,
yeah.
so the guy stood up and
Oh.
talked about it, and I was like, they really do.
Who teaches
everything.
that? Because I know her.
Mel
Well, it's-
Looper.
Mel Looper, I knew it.
She's
I love me some Mel.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love me
Mel
some
is
Mel.
awesome,
Me too.
and you can see she's so passionate.
She has
about
it.
what
Her heart's there.
It is.
It is there.
It is there. So.
And then we also do a class for
Yes.
seniors technology.
Mhm.
So we teach the seniors how to use
Look.
their technology devices.
I'm forever breaking something.
Because when they get ready to go on these websites, okay.
It's overwhelming.
Oh, it's
Yes.
overwhelming. So they don't know how to create an account. You know,
No.
email So we're going over all of that because Social Security wants you to have an account. Health and Human Services wants you to have an account. Medicare wants you to have an account.
Lord Jesus.
You know, you have to get on here to look at your Part D plan. Then you may have to go to the actual provider's website, and you have to look up this and that. So they need to know all of these things.
Yeah.
So, you know, normally we do it for them, but I want to empower them.
And
to
that's
be
the
able to do
best.
it for
That's the
themselves.
best plan. Well, what I don't understand is, you know, I'm not knocking any programmers because I think they're fantastic.
Right.
But they do it on their level almost, and it's like, yeah, we're not all of us are on that level.
I like to compare that
Break it
to
down.
Android and iPhone, which
yes.
I don't know if y'all are the green
classic.
We
message
do
or
both.
the blue.
That's right.
We do both.
Okay, because I have had an iPhone since 2008,
Oh,
and like the very first original iPhone. Okay, I've had one since then. And iPhone is so easy to use
So
to me. Like
I'm
it's
over here going blue,
simplified.
green. What?
Because if you're an Android, the text message is green. That's how you know they're not an iPhone.
Oh,
So
I learned something new today.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're outcasted in my group text,
Yeah.
you know, if that's the case. I can't send you videos or pictures sometimes.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. you're right.
I have a friend that's like an avid Android user, and you know I give her a hard time all the time. But my dad actually had an Android,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" And I mean, I just sit there looking at it. I was like, "How do you use this? Like, this is not user friendly
Yes.
at all."
Yes, not at all to me either.
And see, I would think so because I'm an Android user.
Oh, are
That's
you?
what I've heard. Like, if
You're one of
if
them.
you've
I'm
always
kidding.
been an Android person, that's easier to
Yeah.
do. But I swear, once you go Apple, you never go
Go
back.
back.
Because it just feels so much more simple. Like it's just
Yeah, they
right
want me to
here. You're not
change.
having to. You know,
Yes. That's why we have a secret weapon in our class. We use the high school students to come in and
Okay.
help.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Praise the Lord, because they know
Yes,
everything.
they know.
so are they like volunteers? They come
Yes,
in
they
and
get
help?
community service hours for
Okay.
coming to help in the class when they can.
Wow.
And they also they will teach me stuff. Look,
Yes,
right.
absolutely.
But they are very patient with our elderly clients that are taking it, and you know they love it. They love when the kids are there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they love it.
Yeah.
They get their little
The breath of fresh
conversations
air.
going, and I'm like, we got to get back on task.
We
So I
don't need to
love
talk
to
about
see
that
it.
today.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
It is. That's a great class.
So, some of the things that y'all do, but you also do Lunch and Learn, which is coming up in
Coming
May.
up.
What's that date?
Oh, that is.
Hold on, I got it.
They
Look.
That's the third Tuesday, so
Yes,
that's
the
what.
third Tuesday of the month.
Let me make sure I got it
And
right.
I can't look. It's,
May 21st.
There we go. That's it.
So tell us about Lunch and Learn. What's the purpose of that?
Well, Lunch and Learn, I would say the purpose is to gather our seniors. You know, they kind of view it to me. I feel like even like for something social,
It is very social.
very social, and then to add on to that, just to be able to get some great information. You get a free lunch.
You do.
And you also be able to speak with different vendors that have different information
That's
that they
right.
can gain and get that good contact information, like the cards and things of that nature, where they'll know where to go. So it's just all of that wrapped up in one.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just great.
It is, and it starts at what time? Because I'm always early.
It's usually kicks up about, I'm gonna say 10:45. But
So
usually
vendors
people
come in
go-
about 9:45 to set up.
You
Yeah.
can even come as early as that. Just
And by the way, y'all, she has the most gorgeous tables
Aw.
ever.
Yes.
I don't want to see. I don't want to put my table next to her
Oh,
table.
you're so sweet.
I love it.
Sometimes after I get done, I go, why did I bring all this stuff? It's okay putting it up, but taking it down.
But they love to see it, and
love
they
it.
She never
remember.
accounts for how short her partner is. So last
gotta
time
reach
she
up.
had to leave and go somewhere, so I come to take over, and I'm sticking out the side every time somebody comes by because you can't see me over all of it.
Oops,
Right?
I might have to remember
I said,
that.
she's over there.
I'm like a little tiny person hopping out on the side. I'm like, I'm not trying to scare you.
But I mean, I've always enjoyed Lunch and Learn. I've met a lot of people that I was able to help throughout the years. So do you know who's going to be the speaker this next time?
It is. We don't know the speaker name, but who's gonna
Sponsor it?
speak and sponsor is gonna be St. Michael's.
Okay.
St. Michael Hospital.
That'll be good.
We're so excited and so honored
That's
to have
awesome.
them. We're honored to have any of our speakers
Yes.
sponsors. We're just
We got to sign up for it.
yes.
But I'm sure you've got it covered for the rest of the year.
Well, you know what? I'm
What's
actually
November?
looking. Yes, November is our veterans, where we do our ceremony for our veterans. We are still usually we find like a veteran to possibly speak, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But we're always trying to just. But you're right. For this year, it's pretty much covered.
Cool.
But for next year, hey, Please
We
get in
can-
contact me and
We're
we
filling it
We'll
in.
get signed
on
up.
that
We'll get signed up,
calendar.
because we need to be a part of that.
Yeah,
Because
would be
we have so
awesome.
many different levels of service here that we do,
Mhm.
and I don't think everybody sees it or knows about it and everything
Yeah.
like that, because it's, you know, you can start with home health and then, you know,
There's-
transition all the way.
It's a large umbrella of things.
And he
Oh,
keeps
wow.
adding
It
to
really
it and
is.
thinking of other things. I'm like, Dr. Brains, wait a
So
minute.
is the
Yeah.
retreat just here in Texarkana, or do you have other locations?
We're just in Texarkana.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
We
Are-
service quite a large area
Mhm.
though, so, I mean, really, we can go all the way to Sulphur Springs.
Oh,
At one time,
good.
we were, we could go to Paris. Right now, we don't because,
We have so much
yeah.
here, it's hard to
Yeah,
cover.
Yeah.
hard to cover those, yeah.
Yeah, I've
when the
mentioned
census
opening
was
different
a little
offices.
smaller, we didn't mind, you know, really branching out. And that's not to say that they would not go, but it's more now we kind of have to evaluate, you know, how sick the person is, what's going on.
Because we never want to put
No,
somebody in a
I would
jeopardy
never
situation.
tell somebody, yeah, I'll
We
let
get
you,
there.
and then, you know, like you
That's
said,
smart.
if you look at everybody like your family, there's no way in the
Yeah,
world
no
that.
way.
You would want your
Yeah.
family not to have the
Yeah.
best
That's
service,
it,
so,
yeah.
That's
which is good.
Commendable. I
I'm glad
love
that they do do that.
I love that.
And he's honest about it, so
Yeah.
that's always good.
Yes.
So tell me, you know, we're already in April. We're getting close to the middle of the year. Did y'all make any New Year's resolutions that y'all left at the back at the like
I know,
did?
right?
back in January?
I'm still paying that gym membership, and I've only been twice.
Well, at least you've been twice.
At least you went. At least
I
you
said,
did.
oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, you went. Well, that's better than I did. I didn't join though.
I walk through the gym several times a week, go to the tanning bed and never.
You're
I walked
using
in,
your
Like,
membership.
there was one day I had a whole, I was like, I'm gonna start this week off. Good.
Yeah.
I got on the elliptical.
Mhm.
And I'm looking around, everybody's, you know, they are determined, they're watching
They
their
got-
little
they got the
things,
process
you
going.
know, they
I'm
have their
awkward on all that
little
stuff.
earbud things in, and I'm looking at my watch, I'm looking at my phone, and I felt like it was like 10, 15 minutes into it, I was like, why do people do this?
Yeah.
This is not fun.
This is not
I'm
fun.
looking at everybody else, I'm like, I'm not enjoying any of this, so.
Me either.
I'm like,
ooh.
Okay, give it 5 more minutes. You know, I'm like, you can do this. I got off thinking that I had never checked up on the time. I'm thinking I did a good 15, 20 minutes, 4 minutes. 4
That
minutes.
seemed like forever.
I was on that thing for 4 minutes.
And
I
you
got
felt like it
off
was
and I
20.
looked around and I avoided going back out because like
Oh.
through the way like where everybody looks because I thought they were gonna look at me like she was on that thing 5 minutes.
She
and
gave
so I got
up.
here.
She go quitter.
So I'm like,
Yeah,
let me
right.
hang out over here for a minute,
Mhm,
waste
it's
some
okay.
time. That's not fun. It's not
No.
fun.
Never,
It's not.
never. So, do y'all just have do they have to come have an appointment to meet with you guys, or can they just pop in? What does it look like?
Yeah, most times we like for you to have an appointment,
Yes.
just so we
Correct.
can dedicate that time to
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
But we do have walk-ins or people that call on the phone and
Hey, I got a situation.
Yeah.
Can you give me today?
Right.
And you
Okay.
probably have like busier times a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like during open enrollment, and then it
Oh,
kind of settles back
absolutely.
down a little bit.
When does open enrollment start? I never can remember.
October 1st, right?
It's October 15th.
15th.
Through
15th.
December the 7th, so.
That's a nightmare time.
Oh, gosh.
I'm just saying.
I mean, it's one of the times it's like so, but it's like a.
It's,
That's you.
Yeah.
You love that time.
Yeah,
we
we
do.
don't love
Yeah.
that time.
I know,
It's
right?
kind of like we always. It's weird the way healthcare works, but I say it's a little predictable. Like some parts of the year, it's much busier than it is other parts. So you know
Yes.
you prepare and gear up for your busy time, and you know it's coming.
Absolutely.
And then it hits you in the face. And
Mhm.
you're like,
You're
wow.
like-
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
It seems like sometimes someone would come up with a scenario. Be like, I've never heard of it. Like, Angela, have you ran into this? You know, a situation.
Oh, they're gonna, yeah.
So
So
we
it's-
have, yeah, so you know,
But
we have,
that's how you learn.
That's
You
right.
know, that's how you.
and you have to solve
Trial
those
and error.
problems.
You do,
Yeah.
yes.
Sometimes you have to
call,
reach out to some other area agencies on
Yeah.
aging.
Have you heard of
different-
this?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have you ever heard of this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've had them coming where they moved from Florida here, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, first of all, we're gonna have to get on the phone with Medicare, and we're gonna have to get you back into Texas.
That's right.
You know, especially when I was in long term, it was,
That's
you know,
right.
and they're like, but can you? I'm like,
Absolutely.
we're gonna get on the phone. We're gonna see what we can do,
Mhm, that's it.
because it is. I mean, they're in the hospital, need to go to a SNF, but they're not going back to Florida. They're gonna stay here. So what am I gonna do?
So when y'all were talking about meal programs, where does that come from for y'all? So I'm just wondering because we're in a lot of the community centers and
Mhm.
things. So are y'all like associated with the community centers, like when they are doing the meals? because I know a lot of them deliver meals out. So is that the same program as like what you guys are referring to, or are they from different outlets?
Well, our meals, the home delivered meals, we're like partners with Health and Human Service.
Mhm.
So our meals, like we have a kitchen here in Texarkana at the Kilgore site, or
Okay.
Kilgore address, and they cook the meals and,
Everything.
and they home deliver meals.
Okay.
They ship out. And
So it's not the
same.
same as the senior centers.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's a
so
different-
it's different.
Yeah, we have different kitchens. We have a kitchen in Mount Pleasant, a kitchen in Paris.
How is that, I'm being nosy, but how is that paid for? Where does that come from? What resource pays for that?
Well, I don't want to, say anything wrong, but by us being those partners, yes, with Health and Human Service, they're a partner, and just a lot of different funds from.
I didn't know if it was
Different
donations, grants,
Yeah,
right?
grants,
funds,
things
yeah.
of that nature.
Well, that's awesome, because
It
you never know
Mhm.
where it's coming from, how it's
Yeah.
getting, I'm just glad it's there.
Yes,
Because there are so many
I
people
kind
out there
of
that
wondered,
don't.
because I
That's
know in the little of the smaller areas, I've worked in Arkansas and Texas, and I'm kind of just now seeing like the Texas community centers, but in Arkansas, all of them that I was in, they all had lunchtime meals, and they all had meals going out, and a lot of times they had trouble finding like drivers and people
yeah.
to deliver the meals. So the hospice that I worked with, we would get our volunteers, because part of hospice is volunteers. The program was founded on volunteers, so we have to have volunteer hours and use volunteers. So that was some of the things that our volunteers would do, would be to help deliver
Deliver
those meals to people's homes.
Well, that's wonderful because
Mhm.
we definitely ran into that, especially kind of during COVID. We
Couldn't find a driver anywhere.
And that's
Goodness,
when
that was so
that's
hard.
when we were helping them, because
Yeah,
and they were all so thankful. There were
They got
some
to see and
days that I
experience
rode
that.
along with them and got to take their food up to the door, and they are very thankful
We
for it.
had to do that too, didn't we? Did we have to have volunteers to come or I think some of us had meals going out.
When we went
Yeah,
to,
so we have to go to some
sometimes we
different
go
places.
volunteer as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Mhm.
It's just a giving part of
It
giving
is.
back to your community.
Mhm.
And
It's
they were
awesome.
all of them,
Very grateful.
come to the door very happy and,
Yes.
appreciative to know that they had.
Yeah, and that's just another way that, to really check on our seniors, because
Mhm.
our, deliverers are definitely responsible.
And they,
Looking at that
yeah.
person and seeing how their appearance is, making sure they come to the door. You can't just leave a meal there.
Right.
No.
So I think that's another way of just checking on our
So they're,
seniors.
what you guys deliver are like frozen, they come to you guys
Mhm.
frozen?
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's a big thing that I see a lot, with, elderly people. They can't prepare their own meals,
Yeah.
so a lot of them have like, what are they called, TV dinners?
Yes.
And so a lot of
Lean cuisine or
education,
whatever it is,
as
yeah.
a nurse going into somebody's home when their blood pressure's high,
All that salt and
they have all
everything.
this extra
Yes.
fluid, they're just trying to do what they can do, and this is the closest thing to a meal for them.
Mhm.
But I mean, to be able to have something that's actually prepared and fresh and not been processed to keep it okay, that's a really good thing for them.
So y'all do a lot.
We
To-
do.
Let me ask you this question. So when you have somebody come in front of you and you're kind of going, this is not a great situation. Something's going on here. Are y'all advocates where you have to report them to APS or
Yes,
whatever the
yes.
case may be?
We
Okay.
certainly do that.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a situation where we think that, we need to have APS step in, we definitely call them, we get all the information that we can and get it to the APS
See what
fast
they
as
can do.
possible.
Yeah. I mean, they're limited on what they can do
They
as
are.
well. I
Yeah.
mean, we've all worked with APS and,
Yeah.
situations where you're like, I wouldn't let my mother or dad live like this. Why are you letting
And
me
there's,
live like
and a
this?
lot of times, I have to tell the patients and the family, this is not a bad thing that we're calling them, because
And
this
that's
means
the
that,
part.
you
We're just
know,
trying to give them help.
we're trying to get you some more help involved, because you don't ever realize a lot of times that things are getting out of control
That's right.
until it's hindsight, stepping back and saying, oh my gosh, where did
wow.
we get here with this?
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, what was eye-opening for me is, we go in to talk to doctors all the time, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're so pleasant and so
Mhm.
well-groomed and everything when they come in here. I go, really?
Yeah.
Not the case.
Mhm.
Their home environment is the true test of what's going on.
So true.
Because they can false and they can, fake it till you make it, I guess.
Absolutely. I gotta
and that's
go to the doctor,
heart-wrenching.
let me-
And y'all help with like providers.
Yes.
And am I making this up? But is there like a program you guys offer where there's like 3 hours a week or
Yes.
something like that?
That's right.
So can y'all help them with like getting providers through? Is it Medicaid that pays for providers?
Yeah, it would be Health and Human Services, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and like
so.
for our agency, we got like for Karen them do. Of course, they would call our case managers.
Mhm.
They'll do an assessment and get with whatever providers we have.
Yeah,
We have a list.
they have contracted with providers, and I think they get paid through the program, either the grants or the
Mhm.
funding that they get from Health and Human Services, things like that. So they have a lot of people that they can help.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, it's only temporary. It's 3
Yeah.
hours. But then Vaughn and I try to get them on a more permanent,
Right.
like community attendance services program with Health and Human Services that's more structured and it lasts the long
that
term.
like an
So
income
tell us
based
about
thing?
that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, community attendance services, which is short for CAS. You call the Health and Human Services intake line and you ask them, I need provider
Mhm.
services. Then that program will go on and give you like a little assessment over the phone, and you can call 4 people actually.
Okay.
They don't have to be present with you, so you can kind of give their information if they've, authorized you to. So they help them in the home. They give them however many hours that the assessment
Deems necessary,
Yes,
yeah.
Mhm.
And then they will give them like care, like more in-depth care, like not just like cleaning and cooking. So they'll help them with
Bathing, showering.
bathing, yes, all of that stuff. So it's
We run
How-
into that a lot on
Yeah,
our
we
side,
do.
and a lot of times it's easy for people to say, well, this is not safe, this is not okay, but at the same time, I brought this up a few weeks ago. I didn't even know it was a thing. Have you guys ever heard of the sandwich generation?
no, I haven't.
Okay.
So,
So, like,
y'all
yes,
are well,
and like I
here.
felt,
We're sandwich generation,
yeah,
yeah.
I fell into a whole like rabbit hole on it, and it's because like the boomers, there was so many boomers, but then you end up with like Gen X and the early millennials, like the ones that we're trying to decide, and I fall in this category if we're actually a Gen X or a millennial,
Yes.
and they've come up with a Gen Z or something like a period for these
Yes.
people like me. But anyways, that's because there were so many boomers at the time, and a lot of them had children later in life. So their children are now what they call a sandwich generation, because as we have gotten older, 2 things happen. We either have children really, really early, or we have children really, really late. So, like, I'm what they call a sandwich generation because I have young children, but I also have like children in high school. But they say any child that you're still taking care of,
Yeah.
and then like an adult parent that you're caring for too, and maybe even a grandparent. So this generation ends up, still providing for their own family, but then having to look after care of their parent or their grandparent. And most all of us are working people. Like they still hold a full-time
Yeah.
job. They're still trying to take care of their kids. So, like it's a very real deal. I didn't even like
me either.
in the other countries, it's a bigger deal than what it is in the United States. But they say this group of people, like they're running out of people, like there's no outlet for them
Yeah.
because mom's staying at home when she shouldn't be staying at home alone, but you still have your own children you have to care for, and they didn't know the importance of preparing, for life when you're not able to do those things.
We always
So-
believe we're gonna be able to take care of ourselves to the
yeah,
end.
Yes.
and that's something that we see all the time, and I just have to go in with, judgment-free eyes and say, okay, like it may not be an ideal situation, but how can we get them some help? Because everybody's just trying to survive. They're not intentionally trying
Do
to
a
leave,
neglect or anything like that.
anybody alone, but, like knowing that there's some way to say, hey,
We got you.
we can only help you for this short amount of time, but let me see
That
how
gives
we
you
can get you
something.
here.
What is the peak
Yeah.
time that we need to be in there?
That's right.
So how long does it take to get the aid and attendance through?
It's about the same as like a regular Medicaid application sometimes. Like
Yeah.
I said, it's based on their medical necessity, so if they need care, they try to move it along,
As fast as they
as
can.
fast as they can.
Well, I know I did a lot in Arkansas because I had worked in Arkansas where Medicaid would pay for attendance. But in Texas, it's a little bit different. There's not many agencies that will accept the Medicaid. And we're a bigger state. You would think we would
I would think
we'd
so,
do better.
yeah,
But no, Arkansas, they pay well, so they're Medicaid. But
Yes.
Texas, there's maybe 1 to 2 agencies that will even accept Medicaid. They either want private pay, VA, or long-term care.
That's it.
So
Yes.
if you're fortunate enough to have planned with the long-term care, those are not cheap, but they do pay, some of them, so. But yeah, it's that planning thing that you just kind of wake up and you go, oh, well,
Yeah,
what
nobody
happened?
really knows. It's always the same look on people's face when you start explaining. Because when we meet with people for the assisted living, when they hear, the cost
They're like,
of
what?
somebody for an assisted living, they're like, I'm sorry, what did you say? And then you tell them again, and they're like, well, doesn't the state pay for that? And I'm like, no. Like, there's a whole process to that too, but they're still going to take the money that you do have before they do that. So, I will say maybe if, the generations now maybe are planning a little better, know that, because you just you don't think you're gonna get old and
No,
gonna
you
need
don't.
help.
You wake up and you go, wow, what happened?
And
Yeah.
I tell Angela all the time, I just feel like, we look at our seniors, the people we help and everything,
Yeah.
and I just feel like it's just a learning lesson too.
Mhm.
I just think, hey, we're not here for
I need to
nothing.
be
Yeah.
doing this.
Yes,
I need
just
to
pay attention.
Prepare,
So,
prepare.
yes.
There you go.
It
Prepare,
helps us to
prepare.
prepare as well.
Mhm.
And my kids have all pretty much at some point or another have been involved in what I do, and so they have been in long-term care. They've seen this side of it,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I'm like, y'all just know everything that you're seeing. I know they're gonna rotate. I have 4 boys, and the youngest is 3, so he's not able to, say he's going to yet or not. But
He's gonna give you a run for your money.
they're all. So
Let's
I
be
have
real.
a 21,
He gonna be the one.
19, 15, and then a 3-year-old.
Okay,
She did a variety.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So,
amazing.
So one is in school still, and then the other 2 have graduated. So one's in college and one's married and working. So as of right now, I know for sure that the
You got some
19-year-old,
options.
yes,
Yes.
the middle baby, the one that before
Yes.
the last one came, he's got mama. Like
Mhm.
we've already,
Yeah. Always the middle child.
we've got that one covered. So I mean, I said I don't care if y'all pass me along, rotate me back,
That's
and
right.
Just take care of me.
What
Y'all
about
just
poor
got me
Eric?
that
Where's he gonna be in that
well, see, here's
rotation?
the other, so
Poor
I did,
Eric.
listen, I really thought this through well because I'm older,
Mhm.
so I'm not a full blown cougar, but I mean maybe
Yeah.
kind
Well, you
of.
look
You
So
look
I'm
great.
thinking he should have to take care of me
That's
because
right.
I'm gonna get older before him. He'll still be young, but men normally go before women do.
That's true.
And they decline quicker than women do. So I mean, I may end up getting stuck
Yeah.
taking care of him, but
I know it.
Rachel, he is a jewel.
I mean, I know I'm covered. I'm covered.
You got this.
Yeah.
Well,
she got
my conversation with my husband, because he is like 7 years older than me, I just go, you do know that I have to go first,
Yeah.
because you take care of me, and then you can die the next day.
That's right.
That's our plan.
There you go.
But not the same day. Don't take
That's
my
right,
thunder.
that's right.
You go the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
We can have different days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have it all planned out. He goes, oh, okay. And I
All
said,
right.
so let's just make sure we stick to that plan.
There you go.
Sometimes.
My poor daughter, we only have one child, but she's 29, and she has grown up in this industry. She's actually a nurse now.
Oh.
But when my parents, I was in my 30s when my parents, both of them declined, and it was rapidly. And I'm one of 6, and I moved them in with me with a toddler, little kid. Would I do it all over again? Probably. But was it fun? Was it easy? No.
No.
And I was a pharmaceutical rep, so I traveled, and my husband's a funeral director,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was like I said, it was a process. We bought a house. We actually lived in a very small house, and I'm like, okay, they can't live here. I mean, there's no room. We looked at the attic, taking it into a room. We looked at all kinds of options. So we put it up for sale, and it sold the first day.
Oh, wow.
And then, so we had to find somewhere to live.
Mm-hmm.
And we found a house. We were going to build a house, but I'm like, we ain't got time for that. We found a house that my mom and dad could have separate rooms because they were both in hospital beds. And it was a joke in our neighborhood because the ambulance would come and they go left or right, meaning my
Yeah.
mom's room and my dad's
Oh,
room.
gosh.
Like,
Yeah.
but like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world because Shelby learned the gift of loving and caring and being a good provider. So I'm hoping that sticks to when I get.
Oh, yeah, it will.
Oh, she'll be burnt out by then.
Probably.
She's gonna be long burnt out by then.
The funny part is, you look back and you think about it. You think about your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Who's the easier one to take care of?
Oh, they're about the same.
Oh, see, my parents were polar. My dad was so easy to take care of. Just so. My mom,
Mm-mm.
woo!
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm
Mine
that
are
child.
both very, very stubborn. And like, so my dad, I've helped him, tried to help him with the insurance stuff. And the biggest thing is he gets on the phone. he'll call to take care of it, and he gets on the phone, and the first person he unloads the whole story to, and so
She
they're
goes, "I
like,
gotta transfer
okay,
you."
I'm gonna have to get you to somebody else, and then he goes through 3 people, and then he ends up getting somebody who he can't understand. And so he's telling them, he's not mean about it, but he's like, I can't understand you. Can you get somebody that I can understand? So he's already been on the phone for 10 minutes by the time he's been through all the transfers, and then he can't understand what they're saying, so he ends up just hanging up, and then it just ends up going until it's now way too late, or we're scrounging around last minute to get something figured out. And so, I mean, that's why I said, y'all, I know,
Funny
like,
you
I can
say
just
that.
imagine.
We spend a lot of time on the phone because of that. So we do a lot of the speaking for them, understanding for them, and relaying it back.
And that's what
the
I
middle person.
essentially turned into, because everybody, everybody was hard to understand. And then we ended up, because he had Social Security and disability, and it was like a very weird case. In the middle of COVID, they decided that he was no longer going to be, or there was an overpayment for disability or something. So, and he was kind of told misinformation. He was like, they're going to continue to pay your Part B, but you're not going to be getting this check. And then, he could not go into Social Security because of it. It was during COVID time. So there was a whole period of time that he thought one thing was happening, another thing was actually happening. And then he gets a letter that, his Part B coverage was gone because they did not pay that. So he kind of got left in a situation where it was no fault of his own. He really thought it was taken care of, but then when he's trying to get it fixed, it was hot mess express.
Yes.
Overwhelming.
And I know Deb listened to me in the mornings, because we actually talked to you, and you recommended that we do like the healthcare.gov thing to try to get us an in-between until it kicked back in.
Yes.
And that was fabulous. By the end of that day, he had coverage, he was ready to go. And then when his Part B, it was time for that to come back up, we got a notice from them, and they're like, hey, you're not going to qualify anymore because here's your deal. Trying to cancel all that, though, was a hot mess, because I call the actual insurance, and they're like, okay, well, I don't have anything saying that, you don't qualify. So then I would hang up with them, and it was a Blue Cross Blue Shield plan, and they had talked to me so many times. By the time I was trying to arrange his primary care doctor and do all that for him, they would speak to me. So then I call healthcare.gov, because they tell me I have to talk to them, which I had talked to several times as well. And they're like, I can't talk to you. Oh. I'm like, but ma'am,
you talked to me before.
I have already talked to, I'm pretty sure, everybody on Saturday morning, because that's when I'm off, and they'll take calls on Saturday. I'm like, I just talked to you on this day and this day and this day, and they're like, well, I don't see anything here. So I finally one day got one lady. I said, the actual account is set up under my email. Like, I have done all of these things. So if you will just tell me what I have to log on there, if I can do it online, I will write this up today. And she told me exactly where to go, and I was like, thank you, Jesus. But that was a deal. Just having to,
just not knowing what to ask them, so you could get to that point is like, what I gotta say?
Well, the insurance company was telling me, you gotta call them, and they were like, well, I've done it on my part. So it was about an hour and a half worth of phone calls, but it was finally all settled. And Deb over there laughing. She's sitting in her office laughing at me because
I didn't do that.
right. And I know a little bit about what's going on. I can understand why he's just like, well, it's okay.
And it happens to all of them. It happens to all of them. That's why they like, I don't know where to go from here. I can't, so that's where we come in.
It's frustrating.
It is very frustrating.
So if you know about us, then you call
that's
us,
why
some
I reached
people
out
don't
to
know.
you.
Yeah.
So if you were able to say one thing to the community, what would it be? What would you say about your agency?
Ooh.
I asked some really hard ones, so I'm sorry.
Or advice that you had to
You give them
me,
anything that you would say to our community, saying, this is what we have, this is what we can do for you.
I would say we are an agency that welcomes and love to assist. We are a nonprofit organization that do not go by income. So don't be afraid of, oh, I may make too much or, things of that nature. But to give us a call and just, try us. Ask
You
that
never know.
question. Yes, ask the questions. And if we are unable to assist, then we will definitely find someone that can help you or put you on that right pathway to go get the assistance that you're seeking.
Awesome.
It's rarely ever a no.
Yeah.
It's rarely ever a no. We can't help you because we'll find something.
Oh yeah,
We'll
if we're
find
unable
something.
to, again, it just goes on and say, well, let me go ahead and give you this resource. They'll be able to assist.
I know our social workers forever saying they do that, they do that. I'm like, really? What?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I was like, we really need to hear what they have to say.
Yes.
Because I think, I just wish more people in the community would use the resources that y'all have.
Yes, I do too.
And
Because
What's that generation?
they're prideful
It
and they
is.
don't want
Mhm.
to,
That's
outside of
right.
my, because when I dealt with my parents, I'm like, but you've got to do that.
Just wait till these millennials get there. I'm telling you.
What we gonna do?
Check please. No, I'm kidding.
What's even worse, it's the generation after the millennials too.
I'll be
They're
going
being
way
the
before
ones
then.
the millennials
I'll
are
be good.
raising. I know.
I'm
That's
good.
scarier.
I'm good. I'm a Gen X, so I'm good. I'll be checking out.
That's right.
Well, we are going to be a part of a Mother's Day bingo, and we'd love for you guys to come set up a booth because I think as much as we can get you in front of community people, that's what they need.
We'll be there.
And,
We'd love to
and
come.
see everything. So I'm gonna give you the
Yes.
Alright. Post it wherever you want to do. Put it on your Facebook.
We will.
Everything.
We will definitely put it on the Facebook.
So some of the things that we're going to have there, we're going to do bingo, of course, because we all know they love bingo.
Yes.
We're also going to have some barbers there and beauticians. We're working on some other things too. But instead of having a cookout like type thing, all the vendors are bringing like comfort food for moms, like fruits and things like that. Little bit sandwiches. Yeah, just kind of something to pamper them. Of course, the sponsors will be there with their different entities to be able to tell them what they can do for them in the community. So if you think of anything that would help, and let me know because we can add it.
Okay.
We just want to make it a special Mom's Day because sometimes I don't always think moms get the credit for what they do
Oh my goodness.
and everything
Not
that
at
they
all.
do for their children in our community. So a little pampering back this year. We thought it would be a good idea.
Absolutely.
So we're excited about that. It's going to be Friday, May the 10th at Southwest Center from 9 to 11. So it's open to the community, 55 and up. So food, fun, and of course, bingo with prizes.
And do we need to register?
No, if you just tell me you're going to be there, I'll make sure
Okay.
we'll set up.
Good.
Set up.
Count us in.
The Southwest Center was very gracious and let us have the building for free, which I was because we're doing it for the community, which I'm excited about. I'd love giving back because I think the more you can give back, the better it is.
That's true.
Pay for
They need to bring a table, right? Everybody brings their own
Chairs.
table.
I don't know. They usually have tables set up for
Okay.
you. Just bring your
Okay.
information and what you're going to put on the table and stuff.
Okay.
I'll make sure you're not buying. I'm just kidding.
Yes. I'm like, no.
And you'll be able to get up and speak about
wonderful.
your services and things like that, what you do in the community and everything.
That's awesome.
Just bring a couple of bingo prizes to give
All right.
away.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yes.
Bingo prizes. If you want to bring some finger foods for the moms, do that. I think we're going to have punches and different juices and things like that. Just a melting pot.
Yes.
And if they want it, they want it. But we all know they enjoy coming out and hearing what everybody has to do
Oh,
and
yes.
and making it about all the moms.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a mom and you're raising somebody, that's a mom.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yep.
That's right.
I got
because
you.
there are lots of different versions of
There
mom.
sure is.
So don't get scared by the Mother's Day part.
That's
That's
true.
right.
Yes.
But guys, this was really good
Fun.
to have you
I'm so
on.
glad y'all
Hopefully we didn't
invited us.
overwhelm you with too
No,
many.
no.
Because I have a tendency to ask questions. I'm just a
We
questioner.
love it. It just
She's
keeps
the-
it flowing.
She's the one that goes and researches, and I'm like, well, I'll just ask questions because
I end up in a rabbit hole.
she does. She'll text me stuff. I go, where are you at?
I
What are
get in
you
the bathtub
doing?
at night, like after everybody's going to bed. I don't even realize sometimes I'm in there over an hour, and there's no telling what I have fallen into.
You don't ask her about the
Some
aliens in
things.
Miami.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's some
Oh
things.
yeah, I saw that.
Oh Lord.
She's
We're gonna have to talk to
I'm
me
on
in the car.
high alert for the whole first week of the year.
She's like,
I
there's
mean,
gonna be aliens. I
you
go,
know, we have pastors and chaplains with hospice. I didn't come in on that Monday morning. It's like, we have to talk. I done
Bless
called
it.
a whole pastoral meeting in
That's
here.
right.
I need a conversation.
That's
So,
right.
She goes down rabbit holes real quick. I'm like, come back, come back, come back.
I'm just very open-minded. We'll put
Yes.
it that way.
And I'm very,
Right,
nope,
right, yeah.
not happening. We're two different generations, but we work well together.
That's good.
I rein her in and she reins me in on our craziness.
I love it.
Well, ladies, again, thank you for coming to be
Thanks
on
for
our
having
Wellness
us.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think you gave us a lot of good information for our
Yeah.
community, and look forward to seeing people at the bingo for Mother's Day, and they'll be there to share even more information. And y'all, tell me your telephone number, address, where these people can get in touch with you at.
All right.
Our telephone number is 1-800-372-4464. Our address is 4808 Elizabeth Street in Texarkana, Texas, 75503.
You guys call us. Yeah, call us. And Miss
Yeah.
Megan will probably answer the phone. You
A
let
live
her.
person.
Yes, a live
Oh, yeah,
person.
we love live people.
Yes.
Nothing like going through all the processes.
Yes.
Push this button. I'm like, forget it. Hang up.
Just after watching you give the address and stuff, I think you would totally be like a news lady.
Okay.
You know, like
I know
the
she's
weather
very well
and, like,
spoken.
that was-
Did you sing? Because I think you
had that.
A
sing.
little bit.
It's
I knew
Only
it.
karaoke.
I knew
Only
it.
karaoke.
You have that look.
You know, you're
She
not the
make a
first one that
good-
said that.
Good singer.
But no.
Oh,
Right
you
here?
can sing.
Oh, she can. Yes.
She got that. You got that.
Mhm.
Now, the last time we had somebody on that sang, they had to sing for us.
Oh,
God.
Sang.
Let's get our chairs.
Go ahead.
No, no.
Well, I mean, we gotta share what God has given us, that gift. You don't keep it to yourself. You gotta share that
That's
gift.
right. That's right. I'm hoping on it.
I put her on the spot. We have one of our aides on here, and oh my God, that woman has a heavenly voice. Heavenly
Oh,
voice.
my goodness.
And she is a good minister to go into these homes and sing to our patients and the families. And
Awesome.
I'm telling
we
you,
have entertainment for our lunch and learn. We always welcome.
Yeah, we
Good
welcome
voice.
oh
entertainment.
honey, she
She
can
will.
sing.
She'll have us in there probably.
She had me crying.
Oh,
Look,
she
bring her.
did. She did look over her going,
Look, bring her to lunch and learn. Look.
Yes.
oh my gosh, if y'all hear her voice, we may lose her. She became famous.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not trying to hold her back,
Yeah,
but
right.
she is a gift. Everybody has a gift. We don't always know it. We don't always
That's
utilize our gift. So
That's right.
mine's a gift to gab. Just saying.
Keep flowing.
But again, thank y'all. I'm so
You're
proud.
welcome.
We're gonna say bye and have a great rest of the week.
That's right.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome.
Such an honor.
Well,
Yes. We're gonna definitely gotta get our bingo prizes together.
yeah.
Choose excellence in healthcare. Choose Retreat Healthcare Services.